Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Dr. Ananth Ram, for joining with us. I'm so happy that at least the smog has lifted a little bit today and the sun is shining on us. And thank you, Dr. Preeti, for the lovely, beautiful session, and especially the closing of it. So we are here today to talk about and sort of build our understanding about Ayurvedic, Ayurveda as a medicinal practice, especially in context of mental health. So Dr. Ananth Raman, I'm very curious and I was really interested in this particular conversation is to sort of just understand how does Ayurveda as a medicinal practice looks at mental health. So if you can just elaborate on that for all of us.
Namaste to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Ayushi, for inviting me to this wonderful session and discussions on mental health. First of all, I would like to clear one thing that Ayurveda is not a medical science. Moreover that, it is a science of life. So Ayurveda says that how a person should live healthier and what are the regimes he has to practice in his day-to-day life, and what are the food habits he has to adopt, what are the food he has to consume, how frequently he has to indulge, and how he has to associate with the society. All those teachings are mentioned in Ayurveda. So that is why the aim of Ayurveda primarily is the prevention of the disease, then comes the promotion of the health, and finally only it comes as the curation of the disease. So at present, if you discuss about the existing healthcare systems in any of countries, either it may be India or abroad, there is no healthcare system is prevailing. All are ill care systems. But Ayurveda is the only system which propagates the healthcare system, or the proper healthcare ideology is propagated. So promotion, prevention of disease, promotion of the health, and the curation of the disease. So curation comes only at the end. So that is why in Ayurveda there is a lot of philosophical guidance is given how the life should be led and what is the purpose of the life. So that is why it starts from the Dinacharya, Ritucharya, and the Sadvritta, Swastavritta. Dinacharya means the one day-to-day activities, how we should regulate our day-to-day activities, starting from waking up early in the morning till the bed. What are the things one has to follow for the propagation of the health? And Ritucharya, as per the seasonal variations. Even though we are healthy, based on the seasonal variations, if a healthy person also stays in the Delhi for at least for 1 month in this polluted atmosphere, he will become ill, right? So even though our body is healthy, but based on the seasonal changes or the climatic changes, there will be some ill effects happening to the body. So that is why we should follow the Ritucharya, the seasonal regimes which need to be followed for the promotion of the health. Then it comes the code of conduct, Sadvritta, how we should live in the society. What are the things we have to follow? Not to create any nuisance to the others, which is benefiting to ourselves. So this kind of code of conduct is also mentioned. Then comes the Swastavritta. Swastavritta means to become healthy. As you know, the health or the healthy person, who is healthy? Whether your normal blood parameters is enough to say you as healthy, whether you are not taking any medicines since last maybe 3 months, is enough to say you as healthy? No, it's not like that. Ayurveda says that samadhosha samagnischa samadhatu malakriya. I will clear it, the Sanskrit verse. Prasanna atma indriya manaha swastha ityabhidiya. The healthy means swastha. This is the terminology used in Sanskrit and in Ayurveda. Swastha, a healthy individual. Samadosha, the doshic balances in the body. Ayurveda understands any changes in the body based on 3 basic parameters. The doshic parameters, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. You might have come across these terminologies somewhere else. The imbalance of these Vata, Pitta, and Kapha is causing the disease. Their balance causes the healthy. Samadosha, Samagnisha, the proper digestion. Proper digestion is very essential. So because the so-called conventional medicine or Western biomedicine never consider about these kind of physiological parameters when they give the medicine or treat the patient, like the digestion, proper evacuation of our daily evacuation process or sleep, etc. So a person who is having proper digestion, proper evacuation, good sleep, and clarity of mind, clarity of sense organs, and a proper understanding of one's own self. That comes the spiritual part also. So altogether, if it is balanced, then only we can consider a person as healthy. So Ayurveda advocates various measures for the propagation of health and maintains the dosha or the evacuation of the feces or the urine or the maintenance of the digestion or keeping the clarity of mind, etc. Thank you.
I remember, Dr. Ananth Raman, when I was talking to you earlier as well, you sort of mentioned, you mentioned these two terms, dosha and roga. So if, you could sort of elaborate on the difference between the two.
So when it comes to mental health, there is one more guna or dosha is also coming. So Ayurveda understand every human body is made up of the 5 basic elements, Pancha Mahabhutas, the basic elements, the air, wind, fire, water, the space, etc. Okay, these 5 elements are prevailing in entire universe, not only in the human body, even what we eat, that also contains these 5 basic elements. That is the basic philosophy propagated by the all the Indian classical sciences, either it may be Ayurveda or the other sciences. So these 5 basic elements, that nourishes the 5 basic elements being present in the body. So Ayurveda understand these 5 basic elements in a concentrated manner or in a reduced manner, that is Vata, Pitta and Kapha. The combination of these 5 basic elements are grouped into Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So any movement related with, to simplify, any movement related issues in the body or any movements in the body, it may be circulation or it may be the blinking of eyes, it may be the movements of the joints, it may be any nerve impulses, all these understood based on Vata. Like wind, movement is there. The Pitta is related with the digestion, metabolism, hormonal changes, all these are related with the Pitta. And Kapha is more part of the liquid part. It's the blood related things, lymph or mucus. All this brings stability to the body also. So the balance of these 3 doshas are considered as the health for the body. But when it comes to mental health, there is 3 more doshas are there. They are either it called as manasika gunas also, like sattva, raja and tama. So you might have read somewhere in the Indian classical philosophies or the spiritual textbooks also. Manasika gunas are sattva, raja and tama. Sattva is the very balanced state of the mind. Raja is little aggressive in nature. Tama is some dull in nature. So again, these 3 gunas, Sattva, Raja and Tama, again further called as doshas also. Sattva is always guna, good always at all. But imbalance in Raja, imbalance in Tama causes the disease to the mind also. So that is why they called manasika doshas also. Right? Sharirika dosha, manasika dosha. There are 2 aspects of that. So Ayurveda never consider mind and body as separate. When a hot ghee is kept in a vessel, what happens? Only ghee will be hot, right? Or the vessel will get heated later. What happens? Vessel also get heated later. Or else we can say a hot vessel is taken and I put some water or ghee, whatever it may be in that. So it won't heat the ghee, right? No, it will heat the ghee. Similarly, whatever happens to the body will affect the mind. Whatever happens to the mind will affect the body also. Considering these 2 as a separate entity is the wrong thing what we are doing when we consider a mental imbalance or the psychiatric imbalance. We should consider the body and mind together and we should address the problems. So any imbalance in dosha causes the illness in the body, and later it may affect the mind or the manasika doshas also. So that is why the imbalances we have to grade it. Maybe milder imbalance or the medium or severe. So at first there is only milder imbalance, then it won't be turned into the form of a disease or the roga. So that is why Ayurveda says, Sharira janam doshanam kramena paramaushadam. Pastir viryagovamanam tadatailam ghritam madhu. So, the dhairya atmadi vijnanam manodosha ushadam. Manodoshas, the manasika doshas, which is milder in nature. The doshas, impurities which is happening to the mind, the best remedy is not the medicine. Dhi dhairya atmadi vijnanam. Dhi means the intellect, increasing the understanding, increasing the intellect. Dhairya means courage, giving courage to the person or courage to gain oneself. Atmadi vijnanam, understanding the spirituality. Spirituality, what it is? Understanding one's own self, one's own realization, the purpose of living in this world. So this is the simplest three remedies for almost all the psychiatric imbalances we can see. But when it get accumulated for a longer period or a longer years or days, then it may turn into the disease formation. For example, I hold this mic. It is convenient for me now to hold this mic. Maybe for 5 minutes, it's fine. 10 minutes, sometimes I may get pain also. So in between I keep the mic down. Or else till evening I will hold and speak like this. What will happen? My joints will aching. By the evening of end of the day, I may not be able to lift my hand. Maybe hardly it is 200 grams. It's not a big thing for me to hold. But similarly, any imbalances or impurities in the mind kept for a shorter period and removed it soon with some practices, then it will not trouble you. But the same thing get accumulated in the body over a year, over a maybe 2-3 years, or for a certain period. Of course, that goes to injure. That goes to produce a deep injury to the mind and may turn into the disease. So that is why Ayurveda considered there is two parts. One is the manasika doshas and the another is the manasika rogas. The majority of the conditions falls under the manasika dosha part and can be modified or treated or controlled with some simple remedial measures like modifications in the lifestyle or modifications in the dietary habits or simple purificatory measures, etc. But when it comes to the manasika rogas, then we need to have some interventions like Panchakarma, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ananth Raman. So from here, I wanted to sort of also inquire with you, and I've had that experience before, and it's coming from that space as well, that when a person is in extreme emotional distress, right, and when they approach an Ayurvedic practitioner, what are the steps? What are the steps that are involved in sort of, if I use the term diagnosis per se, or to understand what the problem is, or what is it that the individual is facing? What are the steps involved in that? I have been in the route of psychiatry, so I do understand that. I have a sense of it. Very good. But from Ayurvedic perspective, how do you go about understanding where the emotional distress is stemming from, or what is the problem that the individual is facing?
Nice question. As I told, Ayurveda is not separating the mind and body. We consider it as a whole system, as a human being. Okay. And whatever affects the mind will affect the body also. Whatever affects the body will affect the mind also. Vice versa. It happens always. So that is why, not only for Mansika mental health conditions, apart from that, any general health conditions also, Ayurveda have a systematic approach to understand the underlying root cause, the pathology, and then to decide the medications or the other remedial measures. So Ayurveda says darshana sparshana prashna. The observations, proper observation, somebody is smoking. Observations is very essential, and sparshana, touch. With the touch sensitivity, we can understand many things. Then prashna, interrogation. Okay. So first thing comes the observations. While observing the patient or the person by his nature, by his bodily characteristic features, we can understand his body constitution, some part of his mental status also to some extent. Because it needs little practice also or experience also, and based on the textual references, we can give some inferences. Then when the person comes, we will do the touch examination. It may be the examination of the skin, eyes, tongue, or even nadi pariksha also. So nadi, with the 3 fingers, we will palpate the nadi in the hand. Based on that, we can infer the imbalance in the doshas in the body, vata, pitta and kapha. What imbalance is happening. Then we have to go retrospectively with interrogation. What caused the vata deranged in the body or pitta deranged in the body? Either it may be some food habits or maybe some socio-economical issues or maybe some past diseases or maybe some improper indulgence in the activities. So that we will go in retrospectively with the help of the interrogation, detailed interrogation with the patient, taking proper case history, etc. Okay. So because many times the doshic imbalances is one of the things what I mentioned. The another is some of the physical diseases also may cause the diseases in the body and mind also. And third one is one of the major important factor is prajna aparada. Prajna aparada. Prajna means mind or the intellect. Aparada means the doing wrong thing. So we know that we are doing something bad, but still doing that, which is one of the very much important causative factor for many diseases. Knowingly indulging in unlawful things or not good for things. For example, the person who is smoking knows that smoking is injurious to health. Smoking is injurious to health. And in the box of the that cigarette, you can see very big fonts it is written that smoking is injurious to health. And a big picture of cancer is also nowadays it is there. Every time he will look into that or when purchase or while smoking, then he will smoke. So in our inner mind, inner consciousness, this will be there always. Pratnyaparadam. This is known as Pratnyaparadam, which can cause a tremendous trauma into the mind. Again, the exhibiting of such a big photo of cancer is again causing big trauma to the persons who are smoking. They know that injurious, but still by seeing that particular photo, again, it may cause a big injury to their consciousness. Other than that, the another important factor which causes the diseases are, there is some natural urges in the body. You know that the natural urges means that we need to eliminate from the body, never should suppress. For example, if you feel to urinate now, if you wait till my speech or our program is completion, till you hold it, maybe another 1 hour, of course, and surely it is going to cause some trouble to you. Either it may be physical or mental. Nowadays, the main problem is the suppression of these natural urges. There are 13 natural urges which is mentioned in Ayurveda. We should never suppress. Even yawning. Because of the social behavior, we many a times we will forcibly control that yawning. But controlling the yawning also aggravates vata, causes many sort of physical problems. But there are certain natural urges which we need to suppress. That is very much related to with the mental health. Ichha, dvesha, bhaya, krodha, shoka. Ichha means the intention to get many things. So, or the fear, excessive grief. These things we need to control with some practices. Exhibiting these things, these factors excessively will end up in some mental health issues. So, natural urges, controlling the natural urges and uncontrolling natural urges, these things we need to know. Understanding the Prajnaparada and the detailed history taking, all these reveal to the patient's condition in various manners. Thank you.
So I just also wanted to add to it and ask you this, that so especially on the third part, in the process of examination that you said, which is the interrogation part, right? So I was just curious about this, and it also comes from a lot of personal experience, that in case, so when a person is experiencing emotional distress, and in the interrogation phase, if you get an understanding that there are social factors, like you said, the socio-economical factors also contribute. So if those factors sort of emerge, how do you then go about sort of addressing that with the family or with the person who is in distress themselves?
So, treating any of these psychiatric conditions or mental health conditions, generally three steps we adopt. One is the Yukti Vipashraya Chikitsa, Daiva Vipashraya, and Sattva Vajaya. Yukti Vipashraya is controlling the doshic imbalances with the help of medications, with the help of lifestyle modification, with the help of some yogic practices, etc. Yukti, some logical approach to control these things. The second one is the Daiva Vipashraya. Ayurveda believes that many conditions which are very severe in nature are because of the imbalance in the universal consciousness. Or we can say it can be related with religious or spiritual practices. So some of the spiritual practices also we may need to incorporate in the therapy to get it better. And the third one is the Sattva Vajaya, improving one's own Sattva in the body, or improving strengthening one's own Sattva, we can say. And Ayurveda says that Sattva Avajaya means Punarahitebhyo Artebhyo Mano Nigraha, controlling the mind from Ahita Artha, especially. Ahita Artha means the outcome of sense organs. That means the taste, indulging in bad taste, indulging in wrong food habits. That is one of the Ahita Artha. Seeing the bad things, indulging in some bad situations by visual perception. That is also Ahita Artha. So Sattvajaya means controlling the mind from indulgence in such kind of bad sensory perceptions. Okay. So whenever there is some sort of such a social trauma related issues are coming, first thing we have to go for understand the root where it is started, and we have to understand how much deepened it is. As I told, whether it may be for a 5 minutes pain in my hand or after holding the mic for a whole day, depends. It needs more interventions. So similarly, the changing of the environment is also very important for the treatment purpose. Changing the outer environment, similarly changing the inner environment. So initially we may have to advise some of the dietary restrictions, or may have to give some lifestyle counseling, or may we have to some simple remedies. There are many herbal formulations are available, which can be taken with the advice of physician to strengthen or balance the doshas or the mind. If at all it is not controlling with these things, we have to go for the further stage. That is the Sattva Vajaya, controlling the mind with some yogic practices or some proper counseling therapies or suggestion therapies, whatever it may be. But sometimes, even with these kind of yogic practices, the persons may not be able to regulate their own mind. Whatever you practice, they may not be able to do that because they need some external support. sort of medicaments. That there comes the modern psychiatric drug, they forcibly push it into the system. But it is not required. Apart from that, we can go for some of the cleansing therapies. There is come the importance of the Panchakarma therapies. As I told, the change in the external environment and change in the internal environment. To change or bring a change into the internal environment, we need to undergo the purificatory therapies or cleansing therapies. In Ayurveda, we have the Panchakarma therapies, which propagates that 5 types of purificatory therapies are mentioned. Therapeutic vomiting is performed, and therapeutic purgation is performed, and therapeutic enemas are there, nasal medications are there. These are the 5 Panchakarma procedures. So, if we undergo these kind of purificatory therapies, then we can get better accepted towards these suggestion therapies or the yogic practices or the meditation, whatever it may be, because there is a change in the inner environment also. Thank you.
What I find so empowering from what you said right now, and even connecting it with earlier what you had also mentioned, was the whole idea that, you might want to give support in terms of sort of counseling to the family also and change the external environment. But not necessarily all the time we are able to control our external environment or the experiences that we have in our day-to-day lives. So where you initially said that, in Ayurveda, the 3 main principles, and one of them is giving courage to your own mind, instilling courage. Yes. So it's so interesting that, yes, because social circumstances are sometimes not in our control. So the emphasis on empowering the mind and also understanding the power of the mind there and of your own body. Because I've also gone through the experience of how nutrition sort of helps in and the power of rejuvenation that the body already has if it's given that time and space rather than just pathology in that sense. So coming to my last question from this is that, and I think a lot of us will relate with this as well, is what are some of the daily practices that we can sort of bring into our lives on day-to-day basis for us for our mental health to sort of flourish as well, or generally overall, like if we say that, mind and body is not separated, like in Ayurveda, how can we help flourish our health more with some day-to-day practices that we can take away from today?
As a preventive thing, as I told, the dinacharyas, the daily regimes which is told in Ayurveda is very essential, very essential. Because waking early up early in the morning is, gives a good clarity of mind and good oxygen supply to the body, strengthens the mind, clears your thought process, and improves your digestion also. For example, try this for tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Wake up early at 5 o'clock in the morning. Maybe at 6:37 you feel hunger. And you feel proper evacuation around 7:30. At the same time, if you wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, you won't feel hunger up to lunchtime. Even you can skip and go to the work or job. Okay? Right? Similarly, these lifestyle modifications have very important role in your maintaining the health. So when the body is healthy, then only the mind also will be healthy. So as I told, it is indirectly or related each other. We cannot separate mind and body. And another important thing, the adharaniya vegas, the vegas, natural urges, which we need to suppress or which we should not suppress. The cough, reflex of cough, one should not suppress it. We should do that. Otherwise, it may cause some neural imbalances in the body. The yawning, the urination, defecation reflex, the hunger. We should not suppress hunger. They are the adharaniya vegas. But nowadays what happens is even in the schools, especially girl childs, because of improper hygiene in the washrooms maybe, or shy to go to washroom in between their friends and all. They will drink water less, and only in the morning they will go to washroom, and when they come to home in the evening, then only they will go to washroom. A tremendous health impact is going to happen because of this problem, this kind of suppression of urges. So one should not suppress the natural urges, which should be suppressed. At the same time, one should suppress or control the natural urges related with mind, like ichcha, dvesha, anger, fear, sorrow, etc., should be controlled, or it should be suppressed also. So following the proper dietary advices for the dinacharya, day-to-day activities, and controlling the natural urges, these are the simple remedies we can keep ourselves healthy, even to the physique or also to the mind.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ananth Raman, for your time. Anybody has any questions for sir? If somebody could just share the mic.
Hello. Thank you, doctor. It was just very knowledgeable session. A quick one, like I've been seeing that there is a lot of ads coming these days for mental health in Ayurveda, and a lot of these over-the-counter medicines containing Brahmi, Ashwagandha, Shankpushpi, all these kind of things. So my question was, and I see a lot of people taking it, like even my mom does it, and once in a while. So how safe is it without any doctor's prescription? And even you have gummies these days for all this.
There is no such a single remedy for all the conditions. That first we should understand. All these comes based on the marketing strategy. So what is that word? Ambrosia, right? Ambrosia, remedy for everything. Is it the right term? Yes, I think. So there is no such medicine even in Ayurveda. So the usage of single drugs like Brahmi, Ashwagandha, the aloe vera, turmeric, for a longer period, surely going to cause some harm to your body.
So it's not safe to
Not
take
at
these
all.
Brahmi every day.
For a
Like,
longer period.
yeah.
So all the single drug remedies, even in Ayurveda, we use for shorter period. So that is why in Ayurveda, the medications what we use is the polyherbal combinations. Because when there is some effect of that particular drug, there will be some component which is having some bad effect also. So to nullify that, the herbal combinations are made. Okay. So usage of Brahmi for a longer period, Ashwagandha for a longer period, or the aloe vera for a longer period is not safe, surely. So we should limit it for a shorter period. That is fine.
Thank you. And one more question was regarding mental health. There's a lot of word around using mudras. There are certain. How do they help? Do they really have a effect on your mental health, or it's more like again marketing?
Of course, of course. There is many mudras are mentioned, and of course there is some studies also related with mudras. The effect of mudra on some digestive aspect, effect of mudra in controlling the mind, and the effect of mudra on depression. Many such studies also, good studies published in good index journals is available, and which is very much effective also. But I am not an expert in that aspect, so
Safe? Is it safe for
it is
people
safe.
to
But
do it without
but
any?
but all these yogic practices or this practice of mudra, always it should be done with a proper guidance. And we should get training under a proper trainer, yoga trainer, yoga therapist.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else?
I had a question on if there was a client who came to you and strongly believed in intermittent fasting and following, let's say, a vegan diet. What would be your approach to dealing with that client? Because that client may say there's so much research being done on it, people around me are benefiting from it, but you know. I still feel that intermittent is working for me, and I'm looking for another avenue which would probably work for my well-being, so that person has come to you. So what would be your take on it?
In Ayurveda, the therapy is treatment is mainly two types. One is Langana and the another is Brahmana. Langana means denourishing to the body. Brahmana is nourishing the body. So the medicaments which is nourishing and medicaments or the therapies which are denourishing. These are the two major classification of the treatments in the body. So under the Langana, Upavasa or fasting is one of the major therapy. But Ayurveda having different ways of fasting is explained. Even intermittent fasting also we can adopt, but the fasting is not suitable for all persons. All persons. Okay, so that is why we analyze the patient based on the doshic imbalance. As I told, the each and every person is grouped into three types body constitutions: Vata type, Pitta type, and Kapha type. Okay, for all the three type of body and their combinations also there, around 8 types of body constitutions comes. Similarly, mental constitution also around 7 types are there, based on the Raja predominant or Tamo Guna predominant, like that, or Sattva Guna predominant. So the fasting is not applicable, or we cannot adopt the fasting in a uniform way for all these 3 different types of body constitutions. So that is why we should analyze the person, need and body type. Based on that, we should advise the fasting. Either it may be intermittent fasting or fasting for a shorter period, or fasting with some carbohydrates only, or fasting with some vegetables. Many other varieties are there.
Right. So my follow-up question would be, who would you suggest it to then? And who would you not suggest it to, depending on, like you said, it could be
So
subjective.
generally the Vata body type are not advisable to go for a fasting for a longer time. Pitta and Kapha body types are generally advisable for fasting. Okay. So in that also we need to see the other variations. So based on the personal consultation or interrogation with the particular person, we can customize the fasting. So it is better not to adopt the fasting or any of these therapeutic measures blindly by seeing the advertisements or the reading some from books. Better you have a consultation with the experts in the field, then adopt.
Thank you for that.
And interestingly, the body types, I will give some picture. What is body type? Vata, Pitta and Kapha. The persons predominant with Vata body type, you can observe your colleagues here. So they won't sit in a place for a longer period. They can't sit idle. They will move fast. Sit here, then they will shift to the other seat. Then they will go for drinking water, then come back and again sit. This movement will you can see. It's a simple characteristic feature. The Kapha predominant person, if they sit in morning 9 o'clock here, then they will wake up only for lunch. They won't move. Okay. So this is Kapha predominant and their mind is very stable. They will strong decisions, but slowly. Their memory is also very strong kind of thing. Pitta predominant person, they are getting emotionally very much variation soon. Suddenly they will get angry. Then suddenly they will cool also. Their digestion will be very strong, very bright in color. So there are many such characteristic features, which is very interesting to know. Based on the genetic phenotypic variations, we can see these kind of changes in the body.
Right. So I think we are up with time. Um, maybe we can have one-on-one question, because we have to move to the next session also now. Thank you so much, though. Thank you so much, Dr. Ananth Ram. It was lovely talking to you, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.